to Civil 3D's Lunch and Learn. We're going to cover over Alignments 101 this week. Let's get started. Pretty much the first question is, what is an alignment? Well, the overview of what we're going to do on creating and editing alignment is, first off, we're going to answer the question, what is basically an alignment? Second, we're going to do how to create an alignment. Third, which we're going to spend a lot of time doing, is how to edit the alignment. And then I want you this week to pretty much try it out. Even if you don't have a project with it, just kind of do it out in the middle of a space, because alignment's one of those things that doesn't have to relate to a surface or anything. So you could play around with alignments this week. That would probably be very beneficial. Pretty much the answer of what is an alignment. Alignment is a series of points, coordinates that represent a feature, such as the main ones are center line of the road, edge of pavement, sidewalk, right of way, but it can represent many other things, such as swells, sidewalks. It can go on and on and on forever. Pretty much anything you want to cut a profile or label and length. There are two basic ways to create an alignment. The first way to create an alignment is through a polyline, which we will cover over today, and also creating by a layout. Depending on what you're doing, both are very beneficial in their own different way. Editing, we're pretty much going to show over design changes, realistic design changes, and properties. So let's get started with it. First thing we're going to do is we are going to create an alignment through a polyline, which we have two different polylines here. One that has sharp edges and one that's more smooth and curved. To start off creating that basic alignment, you want to go to your menu, click up to your menu, head to alignments, and create by layout and create by polyline are both pretty much right there. If you want to create by polyline real quick, and what it does is it prompts you to select the polyline in which you wish to create a alignment with. Select the polyline. Pretty much then it will put this create alignment from polyline dialog box, which pretty much like we did with the surface is where you can label your alignment. We're just going to call this one alignment 1 PL. Description, give it today's date. And site. You don't have to put a alignment on a site. Site, as you remember, are different scenarios of design. So we'll probably define site a little bit later, but for now, just place it on no site. Alignment styles is where you select the style in which you want, which you would like. The alignment label sets, same way, select which one you would like. Also, you have alignment layer. This is very good to change if you're doing something other than road, such as if you're doing a force main line or a sanitary sewer line. You may want to make a layer that's force main alignment, sanitary sewer alignment, anything you wish. You can actually change the alignment to that, and it defaults to it every time. One thing that kicks people a lot or gets people a lot when they're creating a alignment through a polyline is the two buttons at the bottom. Add curves between tangents and erase existing entities. What gets a lot of people if they're doing a sanitary sewer line or a storm line is that add curves between tangents. because if you leave that box checked, and it comes defaultly checked, it will place curves between tangents, and it's not covering your whole sanitary sewer line, if that makes sense. You know, your sanitary sewer line goes all the way to the end of the tangent and then turns. And in this case, it will add an arc between the tangents in which it won't cover that manhole. So your profile and your alignment will be incorrect. So you want to make sure that you unclick that add curves between tangents when you're creating it through a polyline. And I am going to erase the existing line that's there. Pretty much there's your beautiful alignment. Actually, it's starting up here. Another way, and another thing a lot of people do not know, is you can create a alignment through a polyline that has curves, and it will recognize those curves already in that polyline. So we're actually going to create this polyline into an alignment, and you pretty much do the exact same steps you did before. Alignments, create by polyline, select your polyline, change the name to 2PL. Description, we're going to give today's date. Site, if you notice, since we created the last one, the next one already defaults to whatever we used last time, such as it used the alignment style for RMA Team 4 proposed. It will do that next time and the next time after that. Also, the alignment's the same way. The alignment label set's the same way. It defaults to what you used last time. So you kind of want to keep an eye on that if you're doing between roads 1 second and sanitary sewer line, and you want the styles to be different, and you want the alignment label set to be different. And again, there's that add curves between tangents. I'm going to unclick that. Click OK. And if you notice when we zoom in here, it actually created with those arcs perfectly fine along that polyline without any problems. So the point of that is to realize that you can create it through a polyline with those lovely curves in which you want without having any trouble. Creating a polyline by layout. Okay. If you go back up to your menus, you'll see alignments. Create alignment by layout. Click on that lovely box. And what it will do is it'll prompt you for the create alignment dialog box. You then can name it. Give it today's date. See, it's similar to creating by polyline, except for now, instead of giving the information of the line and then giving the information of the description of the alignment, now you're giving the description of the alignment and then you're laying it out. So it's kind of the opposite, but your styles, your label set. And this is new. This is kind of neat and new in 2009. You have your design criteria, which is really, really neat because you can actually do a design speed of 60 miles an hour. You can change the design speed to 30 miles an hour. You can use critical base design. You can actually change the design and critical data file. I haven't played too much with it, but I know that this is going to be very beneficial in the near future for anybody who does subdivision layouts. This would be perfect for them. We're just going to go with generic, the basic stuff. Once you hit OK, you should see this alignment layout tools. And you should notice it says alignments -2, which is the name that we gave the alignment. I know this could be a little overwhelming with all these lovely little tool buttons. We're actually going to cover over each and every single last button. But for now, this front button is what you use to create that alignment to start off with. If you pull it down, you'll see 3 different options. tangent, tangent, no curves, tangent, tangent with curves, and curve spiral settings. We are actually going to do tangent, tangent, no curves. So if you wish to do that, you would pull down your menu, click on tangent, tangent, no curves, and start clicking away. You see, notice it says specify starting point. You just click away, and you're actually able to create your alignment that way. Right click, and you see lovely, pretty, no curves in between because we told it not to put any curves in there. Perfect. Now, let's create another alignment. This time we're going to create it with curves between the tangents. Doing the exact same way, head up to your menu, head to your alignments, create by layout. Again, give it the name. Site, alignment style, alignment label set. Hit OK. Now this time, instead of clicking tangent, tangent, no curves in your alignment layout tools, you want to go down here to curve and spiral settings. This is where you set the length of your curve, the radius of your curve, spiral out. I mean, you can go into extreme amount of detail on different ways to actually create your curves and your spirals through your settings. What I'm going to do this time is I'm going to use a curve and do the radius of 200. So it's pretty easy. Once you have completed the settings you wish, press OK. Pull down your creation, and this time we're going to go tangent, tangent with curves. And just like you did without the curves, it specifies a starting point. I'm going to zoom in here because I want to do a real small turn here. And if you notice, as I'm moving the tangent out, it's creating that curve. Alright, so if I actually come in here and create a couple of lines. Now if it can't be done, if the arc cannot be put in a if the arc can't be put in the tangent, you'll notice that the arc isn't present. If you look down in here, the arc isn't there because you can't physically put that arc in there. But as soon as it can calculate that arc to be placed, it will put it. As you see, it will place it there. But if I go even a little bit more, that arc disappears. And if you actually click out, that arc will not be there when you complete your construction of your alignment. So you want to kind of keep an eye out on that as you're doing designs like a center line of a road, which requires that arc in that alignment. You want to keep your eye out that if the design criteria meets that, then it needs to do that. I'm going to make sure it does an arc here. Put one more right there. And if you look in, zoom in, you should see it's very fairly easy. You got another nice little arc here. All of them are at 200. So that's kind of nice. I'm going to exit out of here. That's pretty much nutshell on how you create your alignments. What we're going to cover over now is how to edit your alignments. Now, editing can go on forever with alignment, and one thing that Civil 3D is great for is being able to edit the alignments without any problem at all. If I zoom into this straight tangent with no arc on it, you can actually move out, and if you notice as I move this out and let go, the station is relabeled. It is hot. It is ready to go. Every time you make a change, it updates the file. Zoom it in. It reduces our stations. Well, let's say you want to move this PI. If you notice as I have it highlighted, it has a triangle on it. You're actually able to click on that triangle and stretch that alignment wherever you wish to go. So you can change it 2 feet this way, 2 feet that way. However you wish to change it, you can actually change it. Um, that is real nice. I even had a project manager earlier this week that wanted to move his alignment um, 2 feet, 2 or 3 spots, and that just grabbing and moving it 2 feet helped out a lot, because when you change your alignment, it changes your profile as well, which you'll see probably next time that we do a lunch and learn. You'll see that where I actually change the alignment and the profile will move as well. So that's kind of neat. One thing is grips and changes on your alignment with an arc. If you zoom in here, notice there's that same triangle that we did on this alignment. You see? So that pretty much changes the intersections of the tangents. So you can move the intersections of the tangents wherever you wish, and it will be just fine. The other little nicks in here, such as the balls, will change the radius. If you want to bring it in, it changes the radius of it. The arrow in and out does the exact same thing. Pretty much all the little balls do the same kind of deal. Bring it in, move this one around some. Now that's kind of nice. And what's really neat about the interaction with Civil 3D and your alignments, you can actually, if you did something you didn't like, you can actually undo through it. Which a lot of people don't. A lot of trainers say, don't do undo. Undo is a bad word, but I like undo because sometimes you screw up. Let's go in a little bit more detail on actually editing a alignment. One of the big things is if you actually draw in a polyline, like we did over here, and you create an alignment through a polyline, and you forget to check the lovely little box that says add curves to your alignment. And so you have curves between each tangent, and you're going, great. You can either undo through it, or if it's just 1 or 2 little curves, or you got half your design done and you didn't realize you had little arcs in it, that can actually be changed. One way to get back to your alignment layout toolbar, because if you notice it's not up here and it kind of goes in and out as it wishes, it's to save space. So when you're not using it, it disappears. To get it back, if you click on your alignment and you right click, and it says edit alignment geometrically, if you click on that, it will bring back your alignment layout tools. So let's say you want to take out that arc that's there and you just want a straight tangent to tangent. There's a button right up here that says delete sub entries. If you actually click on that, select your arc, it goes bye-bye. So let's do one or 2 more. Let's just kick this one here and kick this one here, which is kind of fun to do. You can do that multiple times and with no problem. Let's say you didn't really mean to have a PI here. There's a lovely button that says delete PI. Okay, this section right here pretty much indicates your editing of your PIs. You can add a PI, you can delete a PI, and you can break apart PI. Reason for breaking apart PI I will explain in a minute, but let's just delete this PI here so it goes bye-bye. Boom, simple as that, your PI is gone. Well, let's say you wanted, let's take this one away too. Let's say you wanted a PI about right here with this alignment. Come over to insert your PI, select where you want the PI to go, right click, you have a brand new PI right there. The section right here along your alignments are all editing tools. These are basic editing, draw a line, draw a line with curves in length. I mean, it goes on and on and on. These are the arcs. Floating line with spiral. Floating curve, spiral, on and on and on. Curve with spiral. Fixed spiral. It can go on and on and on and on and on. I won't cover all of the tools here, but I'll cover one or two, which is pretty simple. Let's say you wanted to place a arc between these two tangents. That's one thing that I was struggling with for a while because I couldn't find anybody to teach me how to actually put an arc in a tangent that already exists. And I couldn't find it in a book. I couldn't find it almost anywhere I looked. I did find a way to actually do that. If you wanted to put an arc at this tangent and you want to keep this tangent exactly where it goes, first thing you need to do is draw a line to where the center of that tangent is. Then you want to use this lovely tool called Break Apart PI. Click on it. Select your PI, which will prompt you for it. Then it will say enter distance which to split PI. You can enter 2, 3, 4. I'm going to enter 5 so that it actually separates. Now once you're done with that, if you notice your alignment from the beginning all the way up to the point in which it splits has station labels, but everything beyond that does not. But if you highlight over it, it highlights over everything, and it's still part of that alignment file. That is kind of tricky because if you split a PI like that, the only things that are going to show up in your profile and the only information you're going to receive is everything from 0 to 8 plus 2, 2. Everything beyond that is not going to show up unless it's tied in with each other. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind, that the alignment, you can draw a line out here in the middle of space, but it's not going to matter because that's not tied to anything. You need to make sure it's tied to the alignment in which you're looking at doing. Alright, let's actually put an arc between these two tangents. Down on your curve pull down, you'll see fixed curves between two tangents. Through a point, we're going to do between two tangents with a radius because I want the radius to be 200. So, free curve fill, click here, which it prompts you for the first entry, then in second entry. Then it says less than or greater than. I usually go with less than. Then it asks for the radius, so I'm going to give it 200. Once I'm done with that, beautiful little arc in between. But if you highlight the tangent, if you notice, or if you highlight the alignment, you notice that this tangent is coming down to that split point. This tangent is coming up to that split point. You might need to tie those back in. This is simple as cheesecake. Simply place it back on that line. Place your alignment back on that line and connect the two, and boom, those tangents are added. Those tangents are together now. So if you need to put a tangent back together again, just drag it together again and it should be fine. Other things within your lovely toolbar is this little section right here is adding and taking away entries. What this lovely button does here is it converts AutoCAD lines and arcs into the alignment in which you're editing. So if I just draw a line out here in the middle of nowhere and I want to add this line to this alignment, this lovely little box, click, and now that alignment is actually added. Let's do one that's at the end. undo through that. And if you notice, there's an undo button up here instead of an undo button that you actually type in here. The reason why they did that is a lot of people would hit escape a couple times. If you hit escape too many times, this actual box goes away. So you kind of have to keep that in mind, that if you hit escape too much, this box will go away and you have to bring it back up. Let's add a section that kind of comes up and does this, one that's tied to the end of this alignment. If you add it, it adds it. Oh, it's not tied in. Once you tie it in, boom, it brings it together. Nice and pretty like that. Undo through this. Alright, this end section here is pretty much where you can actually get a list or different editing tools of which you need. This lovely alignment grid view is kind of neat. It shows the alignment and the lines and the radiuses and the direction and the start station, end station of each line, so you can actually edit your alignment through just putting in numbers in a more of a grid fashion if you wish to do it that way. That's pretty much how you edit an alignment in many different ways. We are honestly going to go back. Let's see here. What else can we cover? Labels. If you need to add or take away any labels during an alignment, there's many labels you can actually put in alignment. I know that 09 has a lot more than 08 had. And if you wish to explore those, if you actually click on your alignment and right click, here we go, edit alignment labels. And there's different types of labels in which you can add design speed, profile, geometrical points, which is kind of neat. That's new, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting into that a little bit. And the different styles of points in which we have. We have just basic stationing here. Another way to actually label areas in alignment is if you actually bring up your label box, if you actually pull down your menu, general, and you would hit add labels, you can actually you can actually add labels to your alignment many different ways. Scroll down to feature, which is an alignment. You can actually add different station offset, single segment, multiple segment. You know what, I'm going to do this station offset. We're going to do station offset, just station and offset, basic circle and cross. If I want to add a label, such as if you want to know exactly where that station is, boom, that's at 9 plus 7, 1.53. But if you have, I want to know exactly where this point is on our alignment and how far off from that alignment it is, boom, click it. That station is at 8 plus 66.39, and it's off from the alignment 161.44, which is pretty neat. So that's a kind of a neat way to change your alignment. So if you're doing something back and forth with a profile, you can actually see where that actually is, that line, such as edge of pavement and so forth, is in your profile. So you don't have to go back and write a bunch of things down. A lot of people need to know how to actually label the alignment itself, such as calls and bearings for your alignment. You can do it the same way you actually label parcels. If you go into line and curves, single segment, you have bearing and distances, bearing over distance, distance, radius, and delta. If you just click on add, you'll see it select point entry. Click on the line, and it adds a lovely point, or adds a lovely label along your alignment. You can actually do single segment. I'm going to undo this. or you can do multiple segments. So if you just want to do the whole thing at one time, you have an extremely long sanitary sewer line in which you need coils and bearings. One click away and you have all your coils and bearings. Do that to this one too. So this is pretty much the gist on how you create your alignments, and many different ways to edit the alignments. I hope that you enjoyed this. I hope this video is very beneficial to you. And if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Thanks.